So yeah, we're recording now.
Oh,
Oh
Uh,
no.
oh no.
they sourced my media until we wooed.
Anyway, so at least I might as well introduce everyone. I read that was something you're supposed to do. Uh, Doing an attempt at a podcast. Insert title here. And since the idea of me talking into a wall is as interesting as it sounds, I found these two wonderful people, aka I kidnapped them, to 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 be a part of it. Um,
Little
first,
does he know we're into that.
first, the person that will never be able to defeat the Pog allegations. CEO is not Pog, aka Cass. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful because I am consistently defeating those POG allegations.
She truly believes that somehow. And the wonderful people that actually knows what the fuck she's on about. Ministry of Under Control, aka Mini. How are you doing?
We're doing fantastic. Because A, we're around both y'all, and B, we know that Cass, she's not defeating any of those allegations whatsoever. And how about you? Who are you? Oh, voice, oh God, into this microphone.
Nah, I know God. If anything, I'd be a server to a God. And actually, that would already be a really nice job to have. Because probably gods don't need a lot of maintenance. Anyways, I'm Saturn. Saturn 185. I'm just a dude that records let's plays and does the occasional interview.
Yee.
Yeah.
All right. So how about we can either come up with a title or we can just agree with the last one Minnie proposed. 'Cause I
Or
like it.
how about we throw something else out here?
Go ahead.
Oh no, Minnie's throwing it back.
Yeah, we're gonna. What have y'all been doing that has been cool and or interesting the last couple of days?
Who wants to start with that? Well, if no one says anything, I guess I'll start. um, I upgraded my GPU recently.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I still need to sell my old one. The 1060 is sitting on sitting around doing jack shit, enjoying its retirement. But yeah, I could probably use the money.
If you don't sell them, they make good door stops.
It's too big for a doorstop. Because it's one of the larger models of the 1060. I think it's like a Gigabyte WindForce model.
Oh.
If to help anyone see exactly what model it is, it's the really big one where both fans, one spins the normal way and the other spins counterclockwise. I don't know why they made that decision, but it just does.
You got us thinking. Oh, sorry, I don't want to step on you.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, we can step on you. The boots are in the other room.
Ooh.
The it was an old ATI card we had, and it did the greatest thing. On boot up, it would reverse cycle the fans for a few seconds before spinning them the correct way, or not spinning them at all because of heat, unless you needed the cooling. But it did that to keep dust out of the GPU. And we're like, this should be like standard operating procedure for all GPUs with fans.
Well, unfortunately, it isn't.
Right. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Yeah, but why would they want it to last longer when they could sell you another one?
You know,
Or at least sell you the maintenance of cleaning the GPU.
we used to be so terrible. Back long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there were certain models that you could reflash the firmware of the GPU for the better one. You know, hopefully you won the Silicon lottery and was like, quality control said that this GPU didn't have enough cores for it to be this model, so it's that model. Yeah, we'll take our chances. Minnie thinks she knows better than all of the people in R&D over there, right?
I actually heard of that before. I remember hearing about that. I don't remember what models it was though. And how about you, Cass? Anything cool you've been doing?
Hmm. That is a great question. No, I won't say cool, but speaking of computers, I had a, little fiasco slash incredible heart attack earlier about my computer. Um, because a game I was playing earlier, EAWRC, I was having some weird issues in borderless mode, like some weird graphical issues, and it just also would not run at the correct resolution. So I went and checked to see if there's NVIDIA driver updates, and of course there are. Um, but not just driver updates, the update to go to the new NVIDIA app, because apparently they broke the GeForce app so bad that they came out with the NVIDIA app. Um, because they updated the overlay, and the new overlay in the GeForce app can decrease performance by 15% in some games. So
What?
that's yes, that is a thing. Um, so yeah, they then came out with an NVIDIA app, which apparently it's not an issue at the moment, but you have a new app. So I went to update the drivers after downloading the app. Um, my computer goes through the process. Screen, turns black because it usually turns black for a few seconds while drivers are updating. My screens never turn back on,
Oh no.
so I let my computer sit there for 20 minutes
Oh
just
no.
to see what'll happen. Nothing happened. So I shut down my computer completely, turn off the switch on the back of the power supply, let it sit for a few minutes, um, turn it back on, and then the worst thing happens of where uh, now I have no display.
Hmm.
So now I'm like, oh crap, my computer is borked. Um, so I turn it off, turn it on again just to see it did the same exact thing. Um, but I got kind of lucky.
Kinda.
Uh, I got kind of lucky because when I plugged that HDMI port into the back of the motherboard and got the horrible, crappy display out, I was able to completely wipe off the NVIDIA drivers and reinstall them, and now it works.
Huzzah.
That's a relief.
So, yeah, that was a good 45 minutes I spent on that this morning. Um, because yeah, I did a live stream today, and funny enough, I was about half an hour late. Pretty much hit live the second my computer came back.
Hmm.
Wow. Holy shit. Um, I just remembered I actually also had, well, nothing nearly as severe, but I also had my own tech issues yesterday. Um, I assume everyone here is familiar with the Xbox 360 emulator Xenia.
Yeah.
Good old Zinnia.
Yeah, I made sure to specify it's the emulator because I remember being in Mini's stream. If you aren't subbing to Mini, you totally should. Um, and for some reason, talking about the ad emulator, and Mini being like Xenia, and thinking about something else with the same name. So
Mm-hmm.
this time I made sure to specify what I was on about. Um. Anyways, there's a program called Xenia Manager, which essentially allows you to have different configurations for each game. Um, essentially makes the process of configuring things a lot easier. Also allows for auto update. But yesterday when I went to update, the thing broke. Like, it broke altogether. Like, and then I'm like, what the fuck happened? I went to check, and it turns out, yeah, it was always going to do that because the new
Oh no.
version wasn't new version of the Xenia Manager wasn't compatible with the old one. So when it tried to update, it just broke everything.
Hmm.
The games already had linked to it were unlinked. A bunch of things got all messed up. So I essentially needed to start fresh. And thankfully, when the thing crashed, it didn't delete my save files or my configuration files. So
That's good.
So thankfully, I was able to retrieve those into the new installation with the new version, and eventually have everything properly like I had. But yeah, that was like what the fuck kind of moment. um, how about you, Mini? You haven't. I don't believe you have said if you've done anything cool recently.
We have not. We have not said anything, but we're going to piggyback off of what you said. It's not cool at all, and Minnie's lazy to actually fix the problem. You know, we're good at that. But we have, what is it? Tastes like, smells like, looks like. For a while, we were using a Doom WAD manager, and we use the term WAD interchangeably. You know, WAD files are for Doom 1, PK3 files are for Doom 2, but we're saying WAD for all of them. People in the comments can go suck an egg. There's a Doom manager, Doom WAD manager called Arachnotron. And when it works fantastic. It reminds us of the old MAME interface for those that know what Mini's talking about. You know, like it shows you all of the different Doom WADs you have in your folders. You can click it. It asks you what executable you want to run it through, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, one of the latest updates just borked the heck out of the system. So Mini is back on her old stuff. We want to play this WAD. Yeah, we're just going to drag it onto the GZ executable to run.
Well, if it's easier than to fix it, why not?
Yeah. Like would our life be a lot better when playing Doom if we fix it? Yes. Does Mini have time to fix it? Probably. Are we going to use that time to play more Noita or something else? Yeah, that's probably what we're going to do.
I still need to give Noita a proper go. A part of me just wants to go blind when I start playing with y'all, just because it could be funny.
You know, it could. You know, smacking appendages in car doors can be fun too the first time, but that's neither here nor there.
And to be fair, that's probably less painful than Noita is sometimes. So
It's true. It's true. Oh. Cool things besides hanging out with you cool peeps. Thinking. We're restoring some classic computer parts or well, computers and peripherals right now, on and off. That's pretty cool. At least we think it's pretty cool.
Well, I agree. Do you have like any example?
Yes, we are re-chipping a Commodore VIC-20. Some people may call us crazy for doing that, and we agree with them. Because the VIC-20 is a terrible computer. It was a terrible computer when it first came out.
Like,
Um,
someone's got to preserve it.
yeah.
Yeah. People need to know how shit it was.
All right. We will
Just like
kill
the
on this
N64.
hill. Where's that mute button?
Button.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. You know, their Casco's lying again. First she says she's not Pog, and then she says the N64 is terrible. So, you know.
Oh, we'll get back to that.
Anyway, yeah, we will say the VIC-20 is a better computer at the time than the old TI-99. That was an awful hardware experience that we don't ever want to relive. But we're also restoring. We were going through our old storage unit the other day, and we found for those that haven't seen us play some of our favorite Apple II games on stream, when we do so, we play them on Minnie's very first computer, which is an Apple IIe Enhanced. It's right next to us. We can touch it. It's our baby. We use a modern, I say modern, it's a updated 3.5-inch floppy drive made for an Apple IIc that we got years ago, but it wasn't original to the computer. We found our original to the 2E duo disk drive, which is two 5-inch floppy drives in one enclosure. And that is what we used because at the time, Minnie could not afford a hard drive because they were gosh darn too expensive. You had two disks. We used one to boot from and one to load your software from. Yeah, we opened that up, and oh, the horrors that were inside that box, and we were like, no, you got us through some tough times, Duo Disc. We're going to restore you back, come heck or high water. So that's also on the repair bench.
Uh, that's cool to hear. I just thought of something. Um, I won't
Were you
get
also thinking of 5-inch floppies? I mean, because we think about 5-inch floppies all the time. But anyway, continue.
understandable. But y'all, the way y'all go back and forth between about the N64,
Mm-hmm.
made me think of something. Minnie is fond of the N64. Cass, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I am, is fond of the original PlayStation, and I'm fond of the Sega Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that console generation,
Oh yeah, it slipped you
like
by. I
I,
forget.
yeah, I don't have like any nostalgia for it at all. Um, because yeah, I had an NES and a Sega Genesis, and then went right to the PS2. So like I played a few PlayStation 1 games back in the day when I had my PS2, like originally, but I didn't really have any PS2 games until like 4 or 5 years ago. With the exception of like Gran Turismo 2, which I never played, and the original two Driver games, which granted I have played Driver 1 and 2 quite a bit. They're fantastic games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, of that generation, really I played N64 more than anything. Because it wasn't until recently that I've gotten a PlayStation Saturn, and I mean, with original PlayStation, most of the games I have are racing games, and to be perfectly honest, I love racing games, but they are a little rough a lot of times on the original PlayStation. There are a lot of like filler titles that just kind of exist to fill a
Mm-hmm.
gap somewhere, but aren't actually very good. So yeah, like I've played N64 quite a bit. Like I have quite a few N64 games. I have a console. I just have very strong opinions about that console that are not the same opinions Minnie has.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to be the moderator when we talk about the N64, because I don't love it like Mini does, but I don't hate it like Cass does either.
I'll say I don't hate it. I kind of play it up a little bit for a bit, but I do still have very differing opinions on it.
Yeah. Um, I'd say the analog sticks on N64 controllers just age so poorly.
Yeah. Well, the thing, if you ever get to use one that's been like rebuilt or just hasn't been worn out, they do feel like they feel fine. They feel alright. The problem is that they wear out like immediately and become like useless until you rebuild them or replace them.
That's probably the thing that's most stopping me from getting an N64 myself. Is the idea of having to change analog sticks
It's not so
relatively
bad.
often.
It's actually a very easy process because it's actually a whole unit with the analog stick that's like separate. You literally just unplug it from the motherboard. So you can either open that unit up and repair it, or you can just replace it with something completely different. Like on one of my controllers, I have 8BitDo's Hall Effect like joystick, where it's more like the GameCube style joystick, the one on the left side, like the big one,
Yeah.
and it's literally just plug and play. Like
Mhm.
you pop it open, you unplug the connector, and then you just put the new one in. Like
Easy peasy.
you don't have to do anything else. It's one of the easiest things you can do in terms of like controller repair.
Yeah, I have heard it doesn't require any amount of soldering, which I do appreciate because I don't trust myself with a soldering iron. Heat makes me nervous.
Ah.
No, yeah, heat legitimately makes me nervous, and the idea of having something that can just melt whatever I'm working in is just not happening.
Yeah, you get enough
Yeah.
soldering burns, you'll be fine. I mean, what? Who said that?
Yeah, once you accidentally grab the metal part in the soldering iron once or twice while it's on, you get used to it.
I did have one of the disciplines I had at school in like from 7th to 9th grade did go into that, and because it was school and you need a grade to pass, I would try, but I'd always be shaking so fucking much. I was like,
Ah.
yeah, I'm not built for this. I'm gonna fuck all the shit that
No,
exists.
that's fine. It's okay to be shaky. Like one of the things I try to do and does help, which actually I didn't learn from soldering. I learned from doing eyeliner. Is that if you can put your hand on something, like if you can actually like set like your wrist on the table, have your palm on the table while you're holding the soldering iron, it gets rid of basically all the shake. And yeah, I took that over from doing eyeliner because when a lot of people learn how to do eyeliner, they just holding the eyeliner pencil up to their eye and shaking and it's going everywhere.
Hmm.
But then if you put your palm on your cheek, it's real easy and you get nice lines.
Huh. I didn't know any of that.
There you go.
Maybe this is
Make
the
you a better solderer and get your makeup game on point.
and unlock my emo phase. I mean,
Mhm.
what? Uh,
Uh,
um,
But yeah, I mean, if you ever do think about getting an N64, it is a unique experience, and there are a lot of, I say a lot of, there are some really fun games on there. One of my problems with the console is worldwide releases. There's like just over 300 games. Like, there's no games on the console compared to like PlayStation or Sega Saturn.
yeah, depending
Um,
on what genre you want to play the N64 can either have really good offerings or have nothing at all.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It is. And we were kind of talking about this the other day, Cass and us. Um, we play, as our good friend Lilith has said, mini-coded games. You know, our favorite game of all time ever, period, the end of all games Minnie's ever played, is Mystical Ninja starring Goemon for the N64. And that is a game that we've shown people, and they're like, that is a game. That is a game of games, Minnie. Yeah.
A game of all time, even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen you play that game. It looks interesting, if I'm honest.
Yeah. You know, we had games like that. Space Station Silicon Valley was another fun one.
Isn't that
Um,
one made by Rockstar?
Believe so. Believe so.
Yes. Oh, well, before they were Rockstar,
Before they were Rockstar,
it
yeah.
was I can't remember the name of the company now.
Weren't they DMA?
DMA
The
Designs.
DMA, yeah.
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 Um,
But
Another
but
thing
yeah,
about
it's
Oops, sorry. Go
there you
ahead.
go. Yeah, it's honestly kind of a decent place for racing games too.
Oh, I agree.
Which I know a lot of people don't talk about racing games when it comes to N64, but there are genuinely some very good titles on there. I mean, the N64 version of Ridge Racer is a really good Ridge Racer, in my opinion. Like, it's not as deep as Ridge Racer Type 4, but it looks phenomenal and it plays phenomenal. All the Rush games. You have
Mhm.
the original Rush, Rush 2, Rush 2049. They're all literally all of them are good. The original Lego Racers,
Mhm.
which is usually thought of more as a PC game, but it's the exact same game on N64. A phenomenal game. Like genuinely, I think if you like racing games, that's like a must-have title on that console if you ever get one. Um,
Our
and then
favorite combat car games on the N64. Good old Vigilante 8.
Well, wasn't Vigilante 8 a multi-platform game, if memory serves?
there was a PlayStation
Uh,
version of that as
Mhm.
well.
and wasn't there also a Dreamcast version, if memory? I need to check.
Was
Just
there a Dreamcast version?
I'm curious about that actually because I thought that it was, but the second one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was the second one, because I'm just looking at the first one, the page for the first game, and it says PlayStation and 64 and Game Boy Color. So I
It
assume
was
it's Second Offense that has a Dreamcast version.
Yeah, Second Offense was actually N64 as well, PlayStation and Dreamcast. Um, I have emulated some of Second Offense. I didn't quite like Second Offense as much as the first one. Like it still wasn't a bad game. It's definitely of the Twisted Metal clones. It is by far the best one I've ever played. Like there's some real stinkers out there. But yeah, the first Vigilante 8 is better than the second one to me.
Heck, even some Twisted Metal games are stinkers. Twisted Metal 3, anyone?
God, oh, Twisted
Oh
Metal 3
yeah.
is so bad.
Uh, but yeah, another
I think
thing.
4 is just about as bad too. I haven't played 4, but I've heard it's basically like slightly better than 3, but still a stinker.
Yeah, I heard that as well. Just one more thing I want to say about the N64 is one last thing that I think makes it a bit harder for people to get into now in the year 2024, coming into 2025, is the shape of the controller being so unique. Because even if you emulate it and you try to map the controls to a modern controller, it's not gonna work with every game. Because, for example, if you map the C buttons to to the right analog stick, then how are you gonna play, for example, Tony Hawk? I know it's a multiplat, but in that game, the N64 version, it maps the tricks to the C buttons.
Right.
Yeah. Cause see, I am the one thing about the N64 that I will say I am a hater on just purely, and I'm not just playing up, is the controller. I hate the controller with a passion. But I will say that most of the time, the developers that made these games did a really good job of tailoring the game to hold the controller one of two ways. To either hold it on the sides and play it like that, or hold it in the middle and on one of the sides to use the joystick. So, yeah, I kind of agree with that, to where if you are even emulating them, you should have like an N64 controller. Like whether or not you have one of like the adapters, because there are um like things you can get to plug it in a USB. I think Nintendo actually themselves released one at one point for, I don't know if it was for Switch, it might have been for Wii U,
I
to plug
think
in like
I think it
N64
was for
controllers.
Switch,
For Switch, okay.
for their online service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh,
That sounds
that's
about
right.
right.
That one, they actually released another controller that was like wireless that connects to the Switch.
Yeah.
So if you like, I knew you can get like Switch like USB dongles that you can connect like any Switch controller to. Um, you could theoretically use it for that, but no, there are like things you can get to just connect an N64 controller. So if you just get even like an aftermarket like $18 controller, you can just plug it in. And I believe it's 8-bit do makes like a wireless controller kit where you can actually like convert it into a wireless controller.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get one of those as well, and they will make your N64 emulating experience a little bit better.
That is tempting to think about, because there are N64 games I like, I enjoy. To me, the best racing game on that console is World Driver Championship, and I will not hear any arguments against it. Um,
And this is Minnie's hot take of the day. Our favorite controller, bar none, is the N64 controller.
Mm.
yeah, it depends on the game. I
Nope,
can see
that's a
it
hot take.
working really
That is the
well
hottest
with
take.
games. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Right. You can go first, Cass.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just yapping.
You know, putting our controller down, because this is what we're for those uh there's a company called RAFnet Tech, and we have their like V1 adapter. I think they have a V3 out now. We'll drop in the link in the doobly doo. Uh, that's what we use when we're playing most of our games.
Well, I'm looking that up. Oh, it's a N60. Oh,
Hey, USB adapter.
Mm-hmm.
supports Hori controllers. The Brawler 64.
Yes, now you can connect your horrible controller right to your computer.
It also lets you because a lot of the other adapters wouldn't let you do Rumble. We didn't care, big whoop, don't care. But it does let you copy back and forth the memory card files. Because yes, Mini does own a serial-based DUX drive back when those were a thing.
I'd be more surprised if it didn't. I mean, it's Mini. Of course, she has one of
Oh.
those things.
We spent our money on that what is it, the shark, we almost called it a Game Genie to show our age. um oh heavens, what were they called? They're not Game Genies anymore, Mini. They're Game Sharks.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
we.
I mean,
I,
they're all the same thing. They're all hex editors.
oh, before I forget, not so fun fact about the Sega Saturn. It has an official Game Shark, but from what I heard, no one should ever use it because the connectors
Mm-hmm.
scratch the pins on the on the Sega Saturn cartridge slot.
That sounds about right.
So I have one of those.
Don't
Um,
a Game Shark, like a official Game Shark cart?
yes, I have one. The issue with them is that on Sega Saturn game carts, like on the actual board inside the cart where the connectors are, it's beveled just a little bit right on the bottom. The Game Shot carts came squared. So when you push them in, over time, you damage the cart slot. So if you get one, you're actually supposed to sand down the edge of it and actually make the bevel yourself so you don't hurt the cart slot.
So I assume you've done that.
Yes, I did that.
Because I think I already saw pictures of the Sega Saturn, or at least you showed it on stream. And you got a white, a Japanese model too. Like it's white. They're all white. The Japanese ones.
Yeah,
And
it's a
it looks
Japanese one.
beautiful. Fucking hell, I love that thing. Um. So yeah, I'm a bit
Yeah.
of a Sega Saturn nerd kind of person.
A little bit only, huh? Un poquito.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, for that though, like I do have the one, but I will say that I don't use it because there are better options out there. The action replay is actually a better kind of a better deal.
Yeah,
So I don't actually
Mm-hmm.
recommend it just because there's better options. But yeah, the issue of it can be solved pretty easily.
now there's even, I think you can even, I think the Sario even does everything that those cards do.
Yes, the Saru does. It's just the Saru is quite a bit more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Even
the problem with it?
it's not that. I think it's like a 50, $60 card. A Sario.
Yeah, when I was looking at them, they were around like 60. And of course, they do have, the benefit of it is that the newer ones do have that SD card slot, so you can kind of just play games off the cart.
Mm-hmm.
But um, the action replays are like 20, $30. So if you're just looking to play games off the disc, it, save a little bit of money.
Hmm, that's fair, but like even if there's only one game they're like, it's too expensive, I might as well buy a Sario. Like even if you only like, I'll put Panzer Dragoon Saga on an SD card and play that for the Sario and just collect everything else. You already got your money's worth because that game's so fucking expensive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's kind of the trick with the Sega Saturn is that if you want to play games in English, hey, I hope you win the lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't have one nowadays. I just use a Sega Saturn style controller on my computer. I think it's a retro bit one. Let me see the branding on the back of it. Yeah, it's a retro bit USB controller.
We still need to get our thing fixed, our AV-ins, because we were going to do some streaming during the Christmas season because it is still Christmas. Looks at everybody. Um, and pull out our disc of Nights in the Dreams Christmas edition.
Oh, I used to own that
Right.
game. Um, I actually completed it. Like, got all the presents and all the stuff. I had it all unlocked on my first Sega Saturn.
Heck yeah. We were this was years ago. This was probably like when the PS3 came out, just to give you a time frame, right? And we were at a very upscale sushi bar in downtown Los Angeles. It was a work function. And we were hearing the music over everybody, talking and what have you. And we're like, we know what this music's from. Like, what is it? We're trying to put our finger on it. So, we go to the little lady's room in the stall, and while we're in there, we hear it. They're playing the soundtrack to Nights into Dreams in this restaurant.
Outrageously based.
Right, right. I was like, let's go. Somebody's got good taste. I mean, the sushi was overpriced, but the music was mwah.
Hey, they had to pay someone
Yeah.
that has music taste.
Right.
Uh, actually, now that I think of it, I do own a version of Nights into Dreams. I own the Steam version because Sega gave it away for free a couple years back.
I forgot about that. I missed that.
Like, I think it used to be an anniversary thing. They would just give like some of their cheaper games for free. Um, yeah, Nights into Dreams. I have it right here, and I know I
Nice.
didn't buy it because I was broke. But yeah, never owned the Saturn version though. Only Christmas night.
Do 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 do. Now we're gonna have that stuck in our head, which is fine, which is absolutely fantastic. Tis a good.
I assume Minnie has it because, like I said, she probably has everything.
We do not have everything, but we do have Nights in the Dreams. That was one of our favorite Saturn games.
No, I was actually going to ask if you have the controller for Nights into Dreams.
We do.
I actually think that Saturn 3D controller, in terms of like looks, aged better than the N64 controller.
Okay, look. Let's be honest.
They're both
We,
ugly.
we got the wooden spoons right here. Anyway, we have the Saturn. We think looks fine. The controller, even when the N64 controller came out, it looks like a prostate massager. We're not going to argue its looks. But it still feels fantastic, and it's still our favorite controller.
Yeah,
That's fair.
feels like a prostate massager.
You know?
Oh no.
Yeah, the 3D, the Saturn 3D controller, it does just look like a flying saucer with a joystick on it. Like that. I think it's a not a good looking controller.
Right. It looks better than N64 controller. We'll give you that. We totally will give you that.
Well, Sega apparently liked the Saturn 3D controller because they essentially just painted it white, took two face buttons out, and voila, Dreamcast controller.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as much shit as I give the N64 controller, the most uncomfortable controller I have used to this date is the Dreamcast controller.
Really?
It actively hurts my wrist on long sessions.
Oh, wow. We did not know this.
Well,
Yeah.
neither did I. I knew Cass uses doesn't use the official controller when she plays Dreamcast on stream, but I didn't know that the official controller hurt her wrists.
Yeah, yeah, it does legitimately hurt my wrist. Yeah, for Sega Saturn and for Genesis, I used the Retro Fighter uh, brawler controller that they made for that. Because it has both plugs on the end of it, so you can plug it into either one, and that's pretty comfortable because it feels mostly like a modern controller, except it has like the 6 button face on it. Um, and yeah, that's pretty comfortable. But like the normal Saturn controller is pretty comfortable too, because I have used one, and I mean it's just like holding a more traditional gamepad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
And now that I think of it, there is one control that although I do like, does hurt my thumb. And Cass might be able to guess it, but I'll just say it outright. It's the DualShock 2 controller. Because of the precious sensitive face buttons. Um,
You know, that makes sense, actually. That's my issue with the DualShock 2 as well. Because I actually also use a Retro Fighter controller now for PS2. so,
Ah.
so that's not something I ever have to deal with because they did away with that feature because it's expensive and it sucks, honestly. Um,
doing
but yeah,
the
especially if you like use the same DualShock 2 for a long time, that pressure sensitivity like starts to wear out, and then you're like shoving those buttons into the controller if you need the full range of it.
Yeah, and I have so much time playing Gran Turismo 4 with official controllers that I'm sure my thumb hasn't forgiven me yet, but
Gran Turismo 4 is the game that made me start to use the right thumbstick for throttle.
yeah, like if there are like the 24-hour races and that kind of sometimes at some points you just had to stop and let the thumb either let the thumb breathe or use the right analog stick or something like that.
See, y'all here, y'all are talking about painful controller schemes, and we're like, it sounds like somebody didn't play the original Armored Cores.
I have.
I haven't, but I know which
I
controller you're
have.
talking about.
It's horrible. The controls are horrible. They're so bad.
If I want to play a mech game for the original Xbox, there's always a Metal Wolf Chaos.
Well, no, Armored Core was
Oh right, Armored. What?
yeah, it was on PlayStation 1 and then the Armored Core 2 titles on PS2 which use the same controller scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh right,
Fantastic.
And
right.
it's like playing it, you can tell that they designed that scheme based on the fact that you may not have a DualShock. You might have a standard PlayStation controller. Problem is, once you also get to the PS2 for Armored Core 2, they just kept the same controls, so it's still fucking horrible, even though you have two joysticks that would be perfectly functional on the game. Like it legitimately, like Armored Core 2 was the first one I ever played, and I tried to play a little bit of 1. It's ruined the series for me. Like I'll never try like 3, 4, 5, 6 because of 1 and 2.
You know what game I was thinking about? I was thinking about that Mac game on the original Xbox that has like the really big special controller, like with all the
Oh,
buttons and switches. And at first, that's what I thought Billy
Uh-huh.
was on about.
Yeah, that's the oh god, why can't I remember the name of the game right now?
A Steel Battalion.
Yeah, Steel
yeah.
Okay.
That's what just came
Oh,
to me.
we
Like,
need more games like that.
One the really nice game store that's not too far away from me. They have a Steel Battalion controller just sitting up there on the top shelf, just waiting for someone to buy it.
Cass.
Look, even if I was working right now, I can't afford that damn thing.
I was gonna say yeah.
If you have the whole controller, I think they're like $500 or $600 now.
But
Like they're
okay,
very expensive.
yeah, fucking hell. How expensive is the one that you saw? Just
Did that much. It's a game store. I,
There's
I, I
okay.
didn't ask, but I can promise you it's going to be in that price range because it's a game store. Like they know what they have.
I know what
They're,
I have.
they're still cheaper than Mini's Neo Geo Mahjong controller.
Oh,
Oh God.
look, if it says Neo Geo, you just add a zero. That's
Only one?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. You could be talking about the CD ROM based games.
Or
even
about Neo Geo CDZ?
I mean, even a lot of the CD-based games aren't that bad. Like, you could kind of get into Neo Geo CD, but oh god, like anything other than like CD and Pocket, and it's just so much fucking money. It's so much money,
Yeah.
and even Pocket, like a lot of the games are easily triple digits, like instantly.
God. I'd love to have a Neo Geo CD. Like, if I could find one for a reasonable price, I could see myself getting a CD burner, a bunch of discs, and going ham on that.
Ooh,
It'll drive you up the wall. We're gonna as an old owner of a Neo Geo CD.
Yeah, load times
Yeah.
are long. I have informed myself of that at some point.
so,
This is why we were dyed in the wool MVS user.
But hey,
so
I'd put up with it for the sake of being able to play those games on real hardware without having to pay $500 for a single cart.
yeah. The problem with that is too is that they've ported basically all of those games to other consoles at this point, and a lot of them are in like collections of games. So, like, it's really cool. I would love to have a Neo Geo CD, but there's so many other things that I think are worth getting before that.
Yeah, that's true, but I like weird consoles. I can't
That's
help it.
fair.
I
Um,
mean, I still want a 3DO.
oh, I kind of want one too. I'm not gonna lie. They're so stupid.
Like, and the good games on it, odds are, all have, or almost all of them have PS1 and Sega Saturn versions.
Oh yeah. And the main reason I would want a 3DO is because I actually own a singular 3DO game. I have the original Need for Speed on 3DO. Why did I buy it? Because I felt like it. There's no other reason, but I have it.
Like you do, yeah.
Um,
Shameless plug. Now, Saturn can mini interest you in a Philips CDI.
It took a lot of restraint for me to not just start quoting random Paper Mario and Zelda CDI quotes.
Oh,
It took a lot of
uh,
restraint.
I do believe too, Minnie, that you do have those games too, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Aren't those
If,
like
if
some of the better games on that console too?
better is a stretch.
Like for the standards of the console, aren't they like somewhat decent?
Decent's a stretch.
All right. How would you put it?
Oh, okay. The CDI reminds us, and Cass may remember, um, there was a time where they sold board games that came with a VHS component.
What the fuck?
I
Mhm.
vaguely remember some of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would pop in the tape into your VCR, and it was a part of the whatever board game you were playing, and you would have to fast forward and rewind to like parts of kind of like you would in a choose your own adventure book. And we've had more fun with some of those board games than we have with any game on the CDI.
Incredible. Fucking-
So here's the real question. Um, uh, a Tiger Electronics handheld or CDI in terms of fun?
Depends on the Tiger handheld.
Okay, that says everything you need to know.
Part of
But I
me would like to play the Tiger.com once. Not own. God, I don't want to own that. But
they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
But
It
you could get the modem
smells.
and the
Just because I'm
Well,
curious about some of the games.
alright. Well, circling back to Neo Geo real quick, because I always try to look these up whenever Mini reminds me of their existence. I found one Neo Geo Mahjong controller for sale, a singular one,
one.
not just on eBay, one online. It is $900.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Fuck.
Yep, it is not new. It is used. It does have the box, but it is used.
Probably
$900,
smells like cigarette smoke,
as it should.
as it should.
I don't even know what to say to that.
That's the Neo Geo tags.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's a fucking. It's only for mahjong.
Yeah,
I assume it doesn't work for anything else.
Nope.
no. And it is literally a black rectangle with just a bunch of buttons on the face.
Mm-hmm.
Just square buttons. That's all it is.
Wow. Um. I'm
I think Saturn is broken on this one.
Wood. Yes. Nice.
my 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 mic went for a trip and kissed the floor. Actually, kissed the
Mm.
carpet, but you know,
Yeah, like you do.
I'm I'm a bit. Sometimes I have butterfingers. Not. I know that's some kind of sweet in the U.S. or Canada or
Mm-hmm.
something. It doesn't
Peanut
exist
butter.
here.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a peanut butter candy bar.
Yeah, the peanut butter is like all like flaky inside. I like it. I think it's good.
Never got to try it, so I have no idea.
They used to have the Simpsons. They used to use the Simpsons to sell them.
Oh, like an advertisement?
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep, yep.
To me, the coolest advertisement is still Crazy Taxi.
We want to make some crazy money.
Crazy taxi.
Um, what else? I'm trying to think of something like cool to talk about. Oh, what plans do you all have for 2025, if any?
New mission, survive.
Yeah, that's a loaded question for an American.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if y'all need a place to if you need to escape, you have places where to go.
Mm-hmm. True. True.
So hey, could be worse at least. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, it always could be worse, but that's okay. As long as solidarity forever. We all got each other, and it's all going to be good.
Yeah.
Oh, Mini, have you heard? Um, Yesterday, at the time of recording, the Dreamcast version of GTA 3 came out. Like the finished version.
Oh wow, nice, 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 nice,
I
nice.
haven't experienced it myself because right now I don't own a Dreamcast, although this makes me tempted. But from the footage I've seen, it looks and plays and it looks good, and it runs
Heck yeah,
decently.
Yeah. And to be fair, you should own a Dreamcast.
yeah.
Well, right now all I have is like first I need to figure out like my TV situation because I have an old one that for a PAL Dreamcast it it'll work well, but then I'll have to hunt down only like imagine I decide to burn discs or put like an SD card reader. I will have to hunt down only PAL ROMs
Right.
because it's an old European television. Anything at 60 hertz ends up at black and white. And as cool as the effect is, it's not. It doesn't help when you're actually trying to play a game and do well at it.
Well, it's could always run like we're running. Get yourself a nice VGA breakout box.
I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why would that convert the signal to something my TV could understand properly?
Does your TV have a VGA in or something that you can adapt the VGA to like DVI?
It has cart.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, Europeans.
Well, you could plug it into your computer monitor. How about that?
Um, my computer monitor only has like one HDMI port, if memory serves.
Hmm.
I think that's all it has.
Okay, so we're gonna need a SCART to HDMI converter, and then we're gonna need an HDMI, um, an HDMI box, so you can just change what's on the
Yeah. Oh,
box.
yeah. So yeah, VGA to HDMI and then HDMI break. Yeah, we get you. This can work. This can work. We can work with
Yeah,
this.
we just need
We
connectors on connectors on connectors.
we've done worse. We've done worse.
Hey, my current TV, the one that I said, back when I used to own multiple systems, because there were a couple times where I owned more than one console,
Mm-hmm.
I actually ended up getting a SCART uh, thing so I could have them all plugged in at the same time.
Oh wow.
I still have that, I think, kicking around.
Wait. We only say oh wow because we know how big the SCART connector is.
Yeah, it's yeah, it connects to the TV on one end, and the other end is another free SCART connectors.
Yeah, it's a chunky connector. Our Sony tube over here has a SCART on it, but it's got everything. Of course, it was an old production Trinitatin tube back when we used to do some work for our local PBS affiliate.
One thing I have been thinking about is just getting like a modern TV that also happens to have connections to what's the name of the red, white, and yellow connectors?
Oh, AV.
Yeah, AV, the good old RCA
AV
port.
and SCART have all those random connections and at least one
The,
HDMI port.
the thing is that modern TVs don't usually even have AV anymore either.
Yeah.
Like that's why my TV I currently have in my game room, like if that ever breaks, I am going to cry because it not only has AV, it has component and
Mm-hmm.
4 HDMI's in the back. So if it was released in America, unless it's coaxial, which even the NES in North America has AV on the side, I can run it like on the TV, no matter what it is. I can plug it in. Actually, my PS2, I run through components, so I can actually play Gran Turismo 4 in HD on my TV. It's wonderful. If that TV ever breaks, I'm going to cry for like days.
Yeah, if I bought a PS2 here and a copy of Gran Turismo 4, I wouldn't be able to run it in HD no matter what.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, they completely removed that from the European release of
Yup.
it. They're like, nope, no HD for you.
Heck.
although I'll die on the hill that the PAL version GT4 has the better soundtrack.
Hmm.
Or how
Hmm.
Mini says it, I'll kill on this hill.
Yeah, no reason for you to be dying, dear.
And I'll kill on the hill that the North American version of GT4 has the best intro.
Agree to disagree on that one. I admit the song in the US intro is cool, but I like the PAL intro better.
I mean, look, you can be wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, like Cass is wrong about the N64.
Uh, Minnie, you're supposed to be on my side here.
We are.
Mini is on the side of the truth, no matter what side that is.
That's right.
Uh,
Minnie's on the side where Minnie gets what she wants. I mean, what? Who said that?
I said that.
Uh-huh.
It was obviously my voice. I don't know what you're all
Mhm.
talking about. Uh,
Oh, heavens, 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 heavens. See, we're also another unpopular opinion, and this goes back to the a love affair to the N64, but also we were talking about discs the other day and like disc rot with Sega CD games, right?
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and Mini, we collect, though we're probably going to start selling them because Mini needs money. That's neither here nor there. What were we going to say? Ba.
Something about disc rot?
Yeah, laser discs, right? And laser discs suffer from disc rot. That is a thing that this happens, and that is one reason why, as a collector, we like cartridge-based games because they're not going to rot on you.
Ah, that's true.
Our old and heck, our old Atari 2600 carts are going to play just like they did way back when, if we slap them in the console today without any what?
Yeah, but
Sorry.
then you have to play Atari 2600.
Touche. But you get what we're saying. Fine,
Yeah,
our MSX cartridges will play just fine.
I think it's a thing too. We're gonna have to see how other discs start handling that as they get older.
Yeah.
Because we also forget how old some of these are. Like, these over 30-year-old Sega CD games. But at the moment, like PlayStation discs are not being as affected as bad as Sega CD or Sega Saturn games have been.
Right.
And then the DVDs, we'll have to see how those start holding up. because they did get made a bit better as time went on. So it is probably still going to be an issue, but hopefully on newer discs, it might not be as much of an issue. Then we'll just have to worry about all the lasers that are burning out.
Mm-hmm. We're afraid also of like the Blu-rays and whatnot, all of the very high density discs too, because that's gonna be a thing.
HD
Yeah,
HD DVD, anyone?
no one actually.
Goes to get our HD DVD drive off the shelf.
Look, I've almost bought an Xbox 360 DVD drive so many times. I've come so close to buying one.
I bet Mini is the only person that has an HD DVD drive that isn't just a 360 HD DVD drive.
Oh no, it is a 360.
Oh, I actually.
Yeah. Oh no. We bought it. We bought it because it was it and like 5 discs for $5 at a swap meet. We couldn't say no.
Yeah, I would have bought that too immediately.
Yeah,
Same here. And I don't even own a 360. I'll be like, let's give this poor thing a home.
Yeah.
This is why I own my 360 Connect, because I found it for like $3 in the box. I was like, I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah, back when I used to own a PS2 and collect PS2 games, every now and then I'd see a sports game, like sports games that I enjoy, but and I'd be like, let's like for $1, or even less sometimes. I'd be like, let's give this poor thing a home. It can sit with other games and feel like it's not rotting away in a store.
Yeah, and I have this rule too of I've suspended the rule because I'm not working. But when I'm working, I have this rule of if I find a video game I do not own for less than $5, I'm gonna buy it.
There you go.
Just unless I go into a game store, because then you're gonna find 100.
Right.
But if I'm like out, I'm at a flea market, I'm at a pawn shop, a thrift store. There's a game less than $5. I don't have it. I'm gonna buy it every time.
That makes sense.
Do you remember any game that you ended up really enjoying it because of that rule?
Let me look at the shelf real quick. Actually, you know what? That's how I got my first copy of Katamari Damacy.
Oh, love that game.
That is such a fantastic game. That is how I got my first copy of that. It was $5. It was at a pawn shop.
Cast did it the right way.
How did Mini do it?
We imported it from Japan the week it came out.
Excellent.
Oh,
To be fair, you can also read Japanese, and I cannot, so.
Fair. But yeah, it cost a pretty penny back in the day to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, we did that a lot with a lot of the old Super Famicom and Game Boy Sailor Moon games, because Minnie loves her Sailor Moon.
Yes, which I want every single one of those, even though I can't play them.
fan translations, my beloved.
I will say there's one game that I will never forget that I found at a pawn shop, even though I have sold it. I sold it like a couple months ago for the money. It was a copy of Pokemon Black 2 that I paid $20 for.
Oh, Pokemon games are always so fucking expensive.
Yeah, this is also a DS Pokemon game. I sold this game for $150.
Yeah.
R4 card, my beloved.
Yeah, I sold it cheap, quick too. It's worth more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Prices of retro video games always baffle me.
The thing is, it's only certain things that get like that, like stuff that gets hyped up or very specific series. Like, of course, Pokemon is so popular, and it kind of always has been since it first came out, but it's gotten a resurgence. over kind of the last 5 years, and it's really driven all the game prices through the roof. Specifically on Game Boy Advance and DS, like all those games are triple digit games, like
Yeah.
all of them, and it's absolutely insane. Um, like the original games on Game Boy aren't too bad, and the 3DS or yeah, 3DS and Switch games aren't too bad, but yeah, Game Boy Advance and DS, like it's literally insane. Um, like I think Fire Red and Leaf Green are some of the more affordable ones, and they're like $120 each. Last time I checked.
That doesn't sound affordable at all.
I said the more affordable ones. I
Yeah,
didn't say they were affordable.
more affordable. It's a range, you see.
And that's for like a loose cart too. That's not in box. You get in box, the prices go even crazier. And then the other problem with it too is that if you want any of those games, you have to learn how to tell when a cart's authentic. There's
Hmm.
so many fakes out there, or you'll end up paying $100+ for a $5 cart.
Yep.
People can be such bastards. Fucking hell.
I mean, everybody's trying to get theirs, quote unquote, the cheapest way possible, right? Not video game related in the slightest, but in the same vein. Um, we went to the range a few weeks ago, right? And most indoor ranges, well, most ranges period, won't let you use steel cased ammunition.
Oh, why
You
is
can only
that?
use a couple of things. A lot of times they will they have machines that will take the brass and then this way they can recycle the brass. Also, steel jacketed ammunition nominally is old military surplus stuff, so you don't know what's in it. And they're trying to have an environment that's got, I mean, it's an indoor range. The air quality is not going to be the greatest, but they have to have air filters and what have you. So you don't know what you're shooting. So they're like, no steel jacketed ammo. Um, a friend of ours, he came with us and he was shooting his guns, and they check your ammo before you come in to make sure it's not steel jacketed. Well, while we're on the line shooting, one of the attendants tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, whatever gun's shooting these rounds, please stop shooting it. We found out that it's steel case." And he's like, "What do you mean? You even checked it? It's brass." So we go out in the office. Sure enough, I didn't even know this is a thing. There are ranges out there that are selling quote unquote brass ammo. It's not. It's steel jacketed ammo that they anodized to look like brass.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And you wouldn't know unless you like put a magnet over it or, you gotta be bleepity bleeping us. Grumble, grumble, grumble. But yeah, same vein.
Well, just out of curiosity, what would have been the worst case scenario if you all kept shooting that gun? Oh, with those
Well,
bullets.
most of the time they'll fine you. They'll say, "Hey, if you're caught like knowingly doing that, we'll fine you or just kick you out of the range."
Okay. I
Yeah.
assumed like some big safety thing was going to happen. Or could
No,
have.
no, it's more it'll muck up everything for other people, and nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
yeah, so and that's why they didn't make a big deal of it either, because they're like, hey, you didn't know. We checked the ammo when you came in too, so we want you to be aware that this is a thing that happens. So sorry that it happened to you. uh
Jeez.
Here's a question for you both. Pivoting back to games. Do you have any? Do y'all have any sleeper hits, as it were? Like a game you picked up and you were like, I don't know what this is, and then you played it and you're like, this was a fantastic game.
I have an answer for that. Um, and it is going to go right back to the N64.
This wasn't planned, by the way, but you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it.
This is now the
Saturn knows.
N64 episode.
Saturn knows what game this is. So it is a game called Multi Racing Championship on the N64. It is a game. I actually have a Japanese copy of it because it was like $2. Because most N64 Japanese games are dirt fucking cheap. And funny enough, there's like basically no Japanese in it, like a lot of Japanese N64 games. So doesn't matter if you get a Japanese copy. But it's basically if you took Ridge Racer, but you had multiple routes on the course. Some routes are going to be tarmac, some routes are going to be dirt. So you could like say pick an off-road truck, and you could take the dirt tracks, and even though you're going slower, it's a shorter path. Or you could take like the touring car, and you could stay on the road, which is longer, but you're going a lot faster. Or if you turn the wrong route, well, now you're stuck on the wrong route in the wrong car. So good luck, you'll make it, but you're gonna suffer for it. And it's a really fun game. Like the physics take a second to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's a really good time. It's one of those games that for anyone that likes Ridge Racer, like if you have an N64, you should really get Multi Racing Championship because it's cheap and it's really good.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Nice.
I'm here thinking, what do I respond with? There's one game, one PS1 racing game it's actually one of my favorites on the console, but because it's one of those that is Japan only, didn't come out in the US, didn't come out in Europe. Actually, whenever I talk about it, no one knows what the fuck I'm on about. Even I have to go and look the title just so I can say it. Straight Victory Hoshinokazu Yoshi no Chosen. I'd say it's one of the best racing games on the console.
Nice.
And I haven't found anyone that knew what the fuck I'm on about. No one. And Cass knows that I follow and talk with people about racing games that pretty much know everything or almost every racing game there is. And even that, nope.
Yeah, it is a pretty obscure one because the first time I've ever heard of it was the last time you've talked about this game. And there's like hardly even any copies of it for sale. Like it's just a super obscure game that like it seems like people even in Japan had no idea this game existed.
Like, the only reason I learned about it is from watching a video that had one of those videos that is, oh, this is every racing game on the PS1, and it was like 20 seconds of footage of each game. And I looked at the footage of that one game and I was like, huh, that looks interesting. Otherwise, I'd never hear about it.
That's funny.
Not in a million years.
Right.
If that's a bit too much obscure, another one that could maybe be considered obscure is GT24 on the Sega Saturn. I really enjoyed that one.
Nice.
One of the better racing games on that console. Um,
Ah.
now I'm curious. What is your own answer to that question, Mini?
So this was a game we picked up fairly cheap. It was one of those bargain bin games, right? It shouldn't have been a bargain bin game. It was an Atlas game, no less.
Ooh.
But right?
It depends on the game, because I can think of a couple Atlas games that
Mm,
wouldn't look too out of place in a bargain bin.
The
that's
couple is the keyword.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
We picked up, and this was back in like when was this? Late '06, early '07 ish. We were still going to work by bus, and we had like an hour, 45-minute bus ride one way. So we played a lot of our DS at the time. And we picked up this DS game called Contact.
Contact. What kind of game is it? Because I don't think
It
I've
is
heard of it.
it is an Atlas role-playing game. And the more we played it, the more it was like, yeah, this is totally a mini coded game. Because it started out like your standard RPG. We got to help the scientist. The bad guys are trying to get him, but it's okay because the scientist, like hires or gets the plucky young boy to help explore the planets to find the energy cells for the science MacGuffin, whatever, right? But as you play the game, there are little don't want to give too many spoilers, but we want to show you just how unique the game was. Um Little story beats that break the fourth wall. And there are characters that realize the fourth wall has been broken. And then you, as the player, have to determine what characters you're going to listen to in. Are you going to tell certain characters that they don't have free will, that they're just a character being controlled by you? Or are you going to sit idly by and be like, no, the power was in you all along?
Oh,
It's like Existential Crisis, the RPG.
oh no.
And like we talk to people about like the game, and some people are like, yeah, I remember seeing it on the shelf at GameStop, but the cover looked boring, so we didn't pick it up. And we're like, you should have picked it up. This game is awesome.
I never heard of it.
And it did use the screens very well. The dual screens, like the top screen gave you status reports and whatnot from the professor you were helping in a style that looked like Mother, the old SNES RPGs. But then the main game itself was this nice, almost it reminded us of some of the old hand painted look of some of the early SquareSoft games.
All right.
But yeah, it was a trip. It was a trip. That is our like diamonds in the rough, so to speak, game that we have a special place for.
What's the name again?
Contact.
Contact DS game.
There you go. We'll drop it in here so y'all know what it looks like. Boop.
Yeah, 2006 apparently.
Huh.
Um,
I think we paid all of $5 for it. New.
wow. Um, your story, Mini, actually remembered my favorite translation from a Japanese game to
It-
English.
It's not $5 anymore.
Oh no. Do we want to know?
Um, it's priced how you would expect an Atlas game to be priced.
Ah,
Ah, that's a shame. Um,
heck.
but yeah. My favorite. It reminded me of this, and I'll have some screenshots that I'll send soon. But first, I want to set
Hey,
the scene.
go for it.
It's my favorite translation, Japanese to English, and it's an official translation. When you all read these screenshots, remember this is from an official translation.
Official translation. Gotcha. What we got here.
My turn-ons include foot rubs and shiny swords, and I'm dedicated to better living through herbal medicine. Isn't that just weed?
Probably.
Bruce Lee's alive. Oh my God. I think I'm going to wet.
Oh my god. Men are physically unable to ask for directions. Holy shit, is that accurate? Oh my god.
Hey, you're a cutie. How's about we get really drunk and do something we'll both regret later?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, but I'd rather have those than spontaneous anal leakage.
Another odd
Oh my.
thing about this game, it's it feels like they jammed two games, or at least two stories, into one game. Cause about midway through the game has an ending, and then a time skip. Like the game ends and then starts again, different stories X amount of years later.
That's not too untypical for JRPGs, to be honest with you.
Right.
To me, I just like, okay, we're gonna fight the bad guy. I was like, okay, we're gonna fail, and then we'll be hunting some other MacGuffin. No, we just kill the fucker. He doesn't go. He doesn't come back. He doesn't haunt the character's dreams or whatever. No, just not a thing anymore. Which, okay. I was like, okay, let's continue then.
See, at first we thought it was another game with fun translation, but it is not. It is not. It is something else.
Well, now I want to hear what game you were thinking of.
Originally, we thought it was the Sega CD Classic, and we got air quotes and classic. They.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Buffalo Mail for a second.
What was that cast?
I've never heard of they before.
No, Vey with a V.
Oh, they.
Vey. Yes.
V,
Vay.
yeah, just found it. You know what? The cover
Ah, there it
actually
is.
looks cool.
Vey was a fun game, and Working Designs did the translation when they brought it over to the U.S.
That
in the
explains
early
it.
'90s.
That explains everything. Albert Odyssey was also Working Designs.
Mm-hmm. And because it was an early Working Designs game, some of those translations, ooh, buddy. um, one of our favorite games is Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, specifically the PlayStation re-release, right? And They cleaned up a lot of the lines in that game, though there is a character that you have to use for a majority of the first half of the game, and she, with every move, she yelled out a slur.
Oh
Oh
no!
God.
No! 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 Wait! She
You know,
does what now?
we she is of, well, she is of the whatever fictional world the game is on, version of Romani descent, but she says the slurred name for that over and over and over and over.
Oh no.
No! 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 No!
So it's bleep magic, bleep kick, bleep this, bleep that, bleep. And it's like, okay, we can't play this anymore. Uh yeah. Because this was early 90s, the translation is a lot.
Oh no!
So when we're reading some of these screen caps you sent Saturn, we're like, maybe, possibly, you know, um, um, they remade it again. Actually, that's on our list of games to stream soon. Sadly, when they remade it, the Steam port of Bay is just the iOS version for the PC.
Damn. Why
But
not? Why
they
not emulate
oh,
the Sega CD version or play it on a Sega CD?
not sure, but they did put some here. We're gonna send you some gems of where the lines from the 90s were like, they replaced them with lines like this. There you go.
Oh my God.
Arby's got the meats.
The European mind cannot understand.
Let y'all read out some of those out loud.
Horrible.
You know, if you exit this game and switch to another app, I had to sit here and wait. Go ahead, try it.
Right. But yeah, sorry. Sorry to sidetrack you like that, but that is at first that is what we thought you were doing. We're like, no, wrong game, wrong game. Uh,
Well, I'm glad I didn't get the game you were thinking of. That way we got to talk about two games.
uh,
Jeez, but yeah, all of this makes. What was the Sega CD game I said I was thinking about?
you didn't say it yet.
Like the game that I said that I thought you were going to talk about before you said Vey.
Mm, mm.
Uh, Buffalo Mill.
But
That
yeah,
makes Buffalo
yeah,
Mill look tame.
right. Uh,
Uh,
Tame, what's that?
do you remember any funny translations, Cass?
Uh, the only actually translated game I have played, um, is a game called Racing Battle C1 Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to play
Um,
that.
yeah, that so far is the only like actually translated game I have played that's never gotten an English release. So if no one else has heard of that game, what it basically is the people that made Tokyo Extreme Racer thought, oh hey, what if we make a track racer? Except their track racer is still kind of just Tokyo Extreme Racer, except on racetracks. Like the game kind of plays the same, except the physics are a bit different, and there's more emphasis on like tire wear and um, management on the engine, on its overheating and stuff. It's a pretty fun game. I'll say I don't like it as much as Tokyo Extreme Racer, but it is still pretty good. But yeah, the English patch actually, when I played it, wasn't completely finished. because like the rival information was not translated, but now the newest version it's completely translated. So
That
like if you play it now, the whole game's been translated. But yeah, that's the only one I've actually played. Um, I I do kind of want to try the English version of Kenzan though. Kenzan is uh I'll say it's one of the Yakuza games that's not a Yakuza game
mhm.
because like none of the characters are characters from Yakuza, even though they look exactly the same. And it's also set in I think like 1600. Like it's set like way back in the past. But it's basically Yakuza in 1600. Unfortunately, that game never got an English translation officially. And there's like one translation that's out right now, but I know it's not that great. Like it doesn't translate everything. Um, but I do want to play it at some point because there are like two Yakuza games I haven't played, and that's one of them.
Okay, now I came up with a question. What is a game that you would like if it had either if it had a fan translation or official translation, but it hasn't gotten it at least until the time of recording?
Well, you know, I just answered that one. Actually, no, I lied a little bit because I always forget about the PSP titles.
Mm.
So there are two other Yakuza games I have not played, even though they don't really share characters, but it's supposed to be like an adjacent storyline in the same place as Yakuza. Um, but there were two Yakuza games, but instead of being like a dragon, it was like a Black Panther when the name is translated over. Um, those would be really interesting to see if those got like official translations or even like really, really good fan translations. Because like those also have been translated, but they're not very good. Um, because I would like to play those with a really good translation on them because they're very different from most Yakuza games. Because like up until like Yakuza 7, they were all like beat 'em up games. Like you're fighting usually a whole bunch of people at one time or like one boss. And then 7 it became like a turn-based RPG. But these two games on the PSP, when you go to fight, it's more like a fighting game to where it's usually you versus one person, sometimes you versus like two people, but it like puts you in you know, uh, like a fighting arena. Like it's 3D, but you only have that kind of horizontal 2D movement. Um, and it changes up the like the gameplay a lot doing it that way. So I would really like to try those.
Uh, any game you can think about that way, Mini?
We're thinking, we wanted to be a brat and be like, translate it yourself, you coward. But uh, uh, we're thinking though.
If you want a bit more time to think, I can tell my own answer.
Yeah, go for it, go for it.
Um, either Chorokyu Park for the Sega Saturn or Chorokyu Works for the PlayStation 2. Uh, I
Ah.
I read the plot, like a plot synopsis of Works for the PS2, and it's even for Chorokyu standards, is bonkers. Um, okay, let me see if I
Okay,
can find. Yeah, go ahead.
we had to look through our notes, but we've got two that we wish had proper English translations, releases. so that everybody could enjoy them. One of them is a Sega Saturn game,
All right, which one is it?
Sakura Wars.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think if at some point I got a fan translation, but doesn't have an official one.
Right, right. And we're not talking about that re-release nonsense, not that soft reboot. Meh. Meh.
Um, so,
The other one, which is a fantastic game. Um, we played a fan translation of, and then we played the Japanese version, and then had our notes our notepad while we slowly translated as we played. Was good old Police Knots.
oh yeah, I, I haven't gotten to that one yet.
But then we could just go on. There's so many PC 98 games that never got any love over here because I mean, A, it's for the PC 98, and because it's for the PC 98, they were all in Japanese.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to. I don't even know if you can even emulate that.
Oh, you can.
Well, yeah, or I should have phrased it better. I should have said more like I don't know how,
There you go. That's
because
better.
I
That's better.
could have probably just assumed that you can.
That is on, when Minnie is working again, the we have one half of a PC 98 laptop, the bottom half, because the top screen has separated and it doesn't work. But it works well enough to run the PC 98 version of Windows 95, and we can run via an external VGA monitor some of our PC 98 games. But also for anything newer than what that system spec has, which is not very good, it's like a P100 in it with 32 megs of RAM. You can emulate PC 98.
I guess I don't know anything about the platform. I'll admit it right away. Um,
Mm.
I assume they're all keyboard and mouse games.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is a PC standard that was Japanese only.
Oh, all right.
So like it ran, it used Pentium chips. You could put AMD chips in there. Like, yeah, think of standard PC hardware, but with a little twist.
Oh, all
That's
right.
the easiest way to.
Uh, God, God. I'll. C- I'm gonna have to leave the conversation for 5 minutes, cause I need to put my dog inside the house. Can you all just talk among yourselves for that moment for a moment?
You can do that if you wanna do a pause. We'd all take a little 5 minute break.
Yeah, I can just edit I can edit this bit off
Yeah,
in post. All right,
yeah.
give me a second.
yeah. Pupper, 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 pupper.
What the dog doing?
What the dog doing? Minnie's getting her dupa kicked in Noita,
I mean, as one does.
as one does, right? We've been doing well, and then not. It was like super awesome build. We're at the library. We're not at the library. Like you do. Ow, ow, ow! Don't eat us! Ow, ow, ow! Only certain people can eat Minnie.
Oh well.
Oh, oh, whoa. Yeah, no, we stopped our scripts. We had some scripts running for the longest time that would like keep up with the Yahoo Japan auctions for PC 98 stuff. We're like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Let's not. Let's not do something we'll regret. No regrets.
No, it's funny. It's funny too. You talking about that the newer Sakura Wars game. That's
Mhm.
actually a game that I've had wishlisted for a while, and I've been just like, maybe I should buy this.
See, we enjoyed the original though. The original is fun, but with the new one, we're like, it's all right. It's not what we wanted though.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed the original Sakura Wars game. Oh yeah, that killed us. We knew that was gonna happen. We swapped the wrong wand and then nuked ourselves. But yeah, original Vey. Brr, some of those lines were just oof. They did not. They weren't good lines then.
Yeah. That checks out, honestly.
Uh, and what's terrible is like the when Working Designs attempted to do the translation, it was like, we see what you're doing, but not like you're right there. You're right there with the what do I want to say? The comedy, but it's like Japanese only comedy, and they're like, the closest analog we can think of is like to make fun of the gays. And we're like, no, that wasn't the closest. You're wrong. You are really wrong, for real.
Did I miss much?
Just talking more about that terrible translation of A.
I didn't realize that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyways, um, how y'all feeling?
Yeah. I'm having fun.
Good.
How are you feeling?
Oh well, I'm enjoying myself.
Well, heck. We'll have to put a stop to that.
Um, yeah, I don't think Sakura Wars even got a fan translation, or at least I couldn't find one when I looked earlier.
Hmm. I know we have one around here. We'll have to pull it up. We enjoyed the anime so much, and then when we have our copy of the game for the Saturn, and it was like, yeah, this is awesome, this is nice. And then
Yeah.
when we played the remake, we were like, this is not exactly what we wanted. I mean, yeah, it's there, but not really.
My mistake, Mini. It actually does have a fan translation. I just didn't notice.
Here's a completely out of left field. Ports you thought were going to be terrible, but ended up being awesome. And we're going to throw out the Mist port for the 3DS.
Wait,
Ah,
Mist has
that's
a
right.
3DS port.
Uh-huh.
Um, ports that I thought would be terrible.
I do have an answer for this actually.
Oh.
So Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2012 version, not the original one, on the PlayStation Vita,
Ah, that's a good answer.
is such a shockingly good port because it's basically the Xbox 360 game on the Vita.
Yeah.
Like it's
Nice.
the whole game, open world map, upgrades, cops, the whole thing. Like, especially because on the PSP, like basically every Need for Speed at the time got a PSP version, but it was always a completely different game. like different game engine, different physics, different models, and some of them are okay, but like it was nothing like the real experience. And then, the Vita comes out and gets its singular Need for Speed, and it's the whole fucking game. Just put on the little Vita. It was just such an impressive port. I was like, holy crap.
Honestly, if the Vita had more ports like that, it probably would have done alright for itself.
Well, the Vita had a lot of other problems that prevented people from buying it. You can thank Sony for all of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
Sony.
Sony, we need every format to be exclusive to ourselves.
They're like, hey, do you want to pay $300 for a handheld and then have to turn around and spend another 40 on a 2 GB memory card, or else you can't play most of the games because they require a game save before you can play them? Oh, you don't want to do that? That fucking sucks.
Yeah, at least the PSP format. Can you remind me what that name of that format was?
That
Cass?
was the Memory Stick Duo.
At least
Or
every
like
Sony
Pro Duo,
product
one
of
of the
the
two.
time used it. But the Vita.
Yes, but they were still incredibly overpriced. Like
Yeah.
insanely amount overpriced. The thing that really saved that was when micro SD cards became affordable. Um, Adapters to adapt a micro SD card to that proprietary shape just completely, solve that issue. Because then
Yeah,
you could
that's
just
true.
spend way less on a micro SD card, buy the adapter for $5, and boom, you've just spent half as much money and have twice as much memory. Which now, you can buy a 256 GB SD card for like $20 and slap it in your PSP, and your PSP doesn't even know what to do with all that space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need all that space for a PSP.
You really
But
don't.
you want all that. I mean, what?
I actually don't recommend going over 128, or
Yeah.
else the internal RAM does not have a good time trying to load that much shit.
There's also the thing you said about Cass that makes it the PSP being able to read micro SD cards. There's some that support putting two micro SD cards.
There are, you really don't need one though.
Yeah,
Like when those came out originally, like a very long time ago, to where
when Mini was around our
like,
age.
oh my god,
Oof.
those came out at a point when, like 32 gig SD cards got like kind of affordable, but like 64s were still expensive. Because like even now, if you want like say a 1 TB, like you'll spend money for a 1 TB micro SD card. It's expensive, but it's not that
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But if you want the 1.5 TB, you're spending like more than twice as much money.
Yeah.
So it was cheaper to buy two smaller cards and put them in there. But I mean, yeah, a 128 is so cheap now that I don't recommend anyone buying those dual SD card adapters. There's literally no reason to buy one.
Give me a second. Just keep talking. There's a situation
Yeah.
that I need to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Do. Yeah. No. See, it's the we laugh because our first digital camera was a Sony, right? It was a Sony Mavica,
Yeah.
and the Sony Mavicas, for those that don't know, as its storage media, it took a 3.5-inch floppy.
All right, the
You
doggy
got- you-
was causing chaos.
Aw, pupper. Yeah, we were saying our first digital camera was a Sony Mavica. I took a 3.5-inch floppy, 1.44 megs, unformatted, and you could hold a whopping 12 to 15 pics depending on if you shot fine or regular, whatever resolution. Like, want to say highest resolution was 640 by 480. You know, watch out now. Or we're peeping pixels here. But Sony, in their infinite wisdom, sold an upgrade kit for us Mavica users. Okay, because they had newer Mavicas, but they knew how much the old Mavicas were, and they were like, "Hey, we're in an un-Sony like fashion. Give us a little bit money, and we'll keep you in the game, so to speak." The upgrade kit came with two lenses that popped onto your main lens. It gave you like a 2x zoom and a fisheye. And we say 2x optical zoom because the thing itself didn't have any zoom at all. It was all digital zoom. And if you're thinking digital zoom on 640 by 480 was terrible, yes, it was. But one of the other things it came with, which we thought was fantastic, was a Sony memory card. What was it? Memory stick? Yeah, memory stick was their original memory card, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. It was a memory stick to floppy adapter. So you could buy their new memory stick and put it in a floppy drive or the camera and take more pictures than you could put on, a floppy disk. And we've had this in our drawer way back when, right? Then we got our PSP and what have you, and we were like, we got all these adapters. Wonder if we can adapt. And sure enough, it's slower than molasses, but you could still read a memory stick duo via a memory stick duo to memory stick adapter, and you put that in the memory stick to floppy adapter, and you put that in your internal floppy drive.
Excellent. Holy shit.
Incredible.
I think right now in our MSX, actually we have our for when we were doing professional photography, way back when we first got into digital SLRs, one of our first upgrades was a Sony when Sony bought out Konica Minolta camera division. What they did was they just got the Minolta digital cameras, the 5Ds and 7Ds at the time, and slapped the Sony logo on it, and slapped memory duo card slots on it, right? No, take that back. They did not. Sorry. Those used compact flash, as was the standard at the time.
Oof.
Because compact flash it is a good format if you don't want data. You don't want your data to be destroyed anyway. We're not going to get into that. What Sony instead did was, since it's a Sony camera, it came with a memory stick duo to compact flash adapter. Because, we want you to buy our proprietary memory cards to use in this camera that uses a non-proprietary memory until we put out cameras that take this away. And currently, we are using that in our all-in-one MSX cart to load ROMs on the MSX.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
That's nuts.
So yeah, when you were like, "Well, how are we gonna get the Dreamcast to play on our monitor, our TV?" Oh, there's a way. There's a way.
Of course. Well, if anyone knows the way, it's Mini. Yeah, that makes the idea of converting SCART to HDMI sound easy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely converters out there. I was peeking at a few of them.
Yeah, I actually saw one in a store when I was looking at TVs.
Yeah, it seems like the not really crappy ones are like 30, $40, and the ones to just do the job are like 10,
Yeah, easy peasy.
which honestly, that's probably fine.
It's all you need.
Yeah, especially on the older consoles too. Like, I see people like, spending $100 on like retro tinks and stuff, and then I'm over here, streaming, and I have a $20 AV to HDMI converter. Works perfectly. Literally
Mhm.
use it on every console that has AV.
Works like a charm.
Yeah, if it works, that's what matters.
Yeah, when we use our consoles on OBS, we have our little stack of adapters, our up converters that we used for our laser discs.
I would like to see at least not just to Laserdisc, but also other less successful formats. I like to see a movie in each of those formats, like one in Laserdisc, one on VCD. I can't think of any other formats to use. One on that VHS competitor format that Sony came up with that I don't
Oh,
remember.
beta,
Um?
beta.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see,
Thanks, me.
you, you've if you've watched movie night on our stream, then you've watched a few laser discs.
I think I've seen a
Um,
couple. Yeah.
and then a lot of people don't realize a lot of broadcast television use Betamax carts on the well they used to anyway, but this is before the HD, stuff. But where Sony lost the consumer war, they won the pro war in regards to beta versus a VHS.
So I guess I'm only missing VCD.
That's fair.
So VCD can be really easy. Do you have an original PlayStation?
Not at the moment, but
Are they
it's
dirt?
Portugal. They
Yeah, are they
solve.
dirt cheap there like they are here?
Yes, I can probably kick a rock
Okay,
and find the PlayStation one.
so if you get one that has the parallel port on the back, the parallel port is a series port.
Oh, I know what you're gonna
Uh,
talk about. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because you can just get one of those like things that attaches in there and just unlocks the VCD like block
yeah.
that it does. Because there was a couple regions where they did just play VCDs for a while. So that just kind of works around it, and yeah, cheap VCD player.
Is it cheaper than the official Saturn VCD card?
That's a good question, actually. Let's see.
Because
Yes,
I heard of that converter,
yes,
but and
it
I also
is.
know it's not official by Sony, or at least I'm pretty sure it isn't.
Oh, it is not official.
No, no, no.
Um, yeah, Sega Saturn, the official VCD carts, like 80, $90.
Fuck.
So they're not cheap. Um, yeah, I mean these aftermarket ones for the Sony consoles, they're 30, 40, $50. Depends on what you
Mm.
get and how lucky you get. And there's a few different models too. So you can get like ones that just kind of like cover the whole back and actually kind of look pretty nice. And then you can get ones that it just kind of look like a Game Shark where you just slap it in and it just sticks up there and it's just a thing.
It does what you need it to do.
Basically, yeah.
Um, but there is a PS1 with video CD support officially.
There is. None of us can afford that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's like a
Might as
white
well just
one, I
get the Sega
think.
Saturn card.
I think it's like a white one.
I'm not sure about the white ones. I know that color is just expensive as shit, period. Because any color besides the gray is expensive because they hardly built any that weren't gray. But the ones I've seen, they are gray, but they're still expensive as crazy.
Yeah. One PS1 that I know it's expensive as fuck, but I love how it looks. It's the blue one. There's a blue PS1. I don't know why they made a blue one, but it looks incredible. Blue.
See, we thought you were gonna start talking about the PSX.
No.
Ooh.
I mean,
The one none of us
Those
can
are cool.
afford.
yeah.
Those I let me see because I don't know how bad they are right now. I know
They
the
used to be
price
bad.
the price on the PSX they fluctuate a lot. There's like a huge difference between in-box and how clean they are.
If they work at all.
Um, partially working
Hmm.
130.
So
What is
probably one of the lasers has already died.
this is one I would buy and fix it. That's what I would do. Um, because yeah, then that's right underneath another one that's $1,200 because it's in box and it looks like it's brand spanking new. It's got the stickers on it, the controller's wrapped up.
Oh,
Like this
nice,
thing
nice,
has
nice.
never been used. It is pretty. And that one, what gigabyte model is this? This is a 160 gig. And then what was the other one? Was that one also 160? I actually don't remember how to tell. Because I know they came with a couple different hard drives.
Hmm.
Which, to be fair, that was a big reason why they were so expensive too. Is because that's a big hard drive for back then.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space.
Yeah. Didn't the PS3 only come out when it came out? Only have as much like the biggest hard drive was like 80 gigabytes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was it the 20 and the 80?
The 20 and the 80. Yep. Because we had an 80 fat.
Is that the one that had the PS2 compatibility?
Yep. It
Yep.
did.
Those launch models did, and then the ones right after. Actually, any fat PS3 will play PS2 games,
Yeah.
but the early models actually had PS2 hardware inside. The later ones used kind of a crude emulation to the varying level of success to the point where I say just get a PS2 and just put
Hmm.
it next to it.
Um, early PS3s also had Linux support, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. It was built right in.
That's why Minnie got her whopping check for like $130 from that Sony. When they took out Linux compatibility on the PS3, they made a what is it called, a lawsuit against Sony, and it was if you used this and you couldn't prove that you used it, we're going to give you a year's free PlayStation Network. If you could partially prove that you use Linux support, we're going to give you like $20 on the PSN store. Or if you could officially like show us with proof that you used the Linux support on your PS3, would give you $130 plus the other two things to pay the difference between the old version of the PlayStation 3 and the newer version at the time that didn't have Linux support.
Nah.
And yeah, it was 5 year period, like 3 to 5 year period. And to prove that we used it, we sent our PlayStation 3 hard drive with Linux installed on it to Sony.
Well, can't be any more conclusive than that.
So the early PS3s also did something else really really cool. So there is a fairly unknown but shockingly common format called Super Audio CD.
Yep.
So these are CDs that were slightly different color. They were kind of yellowish that held way more storage than a regular CD. I believe it was, what was it, like 4.4 gigs or something like that for like a single layer,
Yeah.
which was a lot. So they were used fairly commonly to just give out like incredibly good audio files of music. And what they would do a lot of times is actually release it as a dual layer. So one layer would read like a regular CD. So you could just stick it in the CD player and it would play. It'd work perfectly fine. But if you had something that played Super Audio CDs, it would then play those higher quality files. Um, the problem was is that Super Audio CD players are incredibly expensive to the point where one of the most affordable ones was the PS3. But only the early PS3 plays them.
Mm-hmm.
And then another level to that is that if you have one of the launch models, 60 or 80 gig that has the 4 USB ports in the front, those can actually be used to rip the files off the disc, which basically no other Super Audio CD player can do. And that's a huge reason as to why those early launch models are as expensive as they are, because it's not just people that want the one console and don't want the emulation for the PS2. It's also people who want to rip music off Super Audio CDs or just play them, are specifically looking for these consoles to listen to their music.
Good old Super Audio CD. Yeah. What when you need something better than Redbook?
I assume most people don't need something better than Redbook.
Yeah, I mean, we're surprised most people. I mean, there most people don't even know what Redbook Audio is. So you know, it's all good. My goodness.
I was actually with all the PS3 talk. I actually started looking PS3s up on online, like prices and whatnot. Uh, found is is it even possible to fix the yellow light of death, or is just a fuck you, no more console for you?
I'm trying to remember.
Most things on PS3 can be fixed. It's just a
Hmm.
matter of difficulty and if it's even worth it.
Yeah.
Um, I
All
mean,
right.
the thing is with the PS3 too is that I always tell people to just get a Slim and then get a PS2 as well, because the fat models, like, they're so expensive. It's not even worth it, and they're the least reliable, like by miles.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it's, like I said, honestly, you're better off just getting a Slim. Um, the crazy part is too is because I've been kind of peeking at them here and there, uh, because my PS3, uh, the Blu-ray laser's gone out, so I can't play physical games. Like I could still mod the console. The console still works fine. But I've been looking and trying to see like how much lasers are for them, and it's like at a point right now where I might as well just buy another PS3 if I'm gonna actually fix it.
Right. Right.
It's like the laser. I'm gonna spend like 60, $70 on like a known working laser to put it in this console. Or actually I have a few wish lists on eBay. Here's a blue Japanese Slim with a 320 gigabyte hard drive in it for $120 shipped.
Right.
Like, why wouldn't I just buy that?
Yeah.
It's blue. It's awesome.
Yeah, I bet it looks. Does it come with a controller?
No, it's just console, but the thing is that I also have a passionate hatred for the DualShock 3. So I actually use a Brookwing, man. I use the DualShock 4.
I'm starting to notice a pattern here between CAS and original console controllers.
Not necessarily.
Like
I mean, that's it. Like on Genesis, I now use my Retro Fighter because I have it, but I really like the original Genesis controller. I have like 5 of them.
the free button one.
Either one, they're both great. 3 button or 6 button.
6 button all the way, baby.
The thing is that you actually kind of need one of each because some games don't like 6 button controllers and don't work right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is the thing.
Can you give me like an example?
Nope. I don't remember, but I do know that's a thing. I generally don't remember any of them.
That's fair.
There's one game I actually have that I was playing, that I was having issues with the 6 button controller. I can't remember what it is. But no, I like that controller. I like the Xbox 360 controller. I mean, they are unreliable, so I don't always use them for the Xbox 360, but I do like them when they're functioning properly.
Yeah, the
I like
analogs go bad easily.
Yeah, that and actually like the little battery pack kind of wears out a little bit over time, and then it doesn't make a good contact, so the controller will kind of just shut off while you're holding it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't mind fixing analog sticks. I do that all the time. But that's the thing that really annoys me because that you can't really fix it without just like replacing the shell or doing something janky. So that one kind of drives me up the wall. But I still really like controller. I like how it feels. The modern like Xbox Series controller I really like. I think that's a great controller. I like the DualSense even if they break all the time because they're unreliable as hell. But no, I mean there's definitely like factory controllers I really like. But you know,
I
we happen to
figured
just be
that
talking about all the ones that I have a passionate hatred for.
yeah, I figured that was the case, but I still felt like teasing.
I mean, look, if there's anyone that likes the DualShock 3, they can come talk to me and I'll tell them how they're wrong.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
Yeah. I would love to watch someone play Gran Turismo 5 or 6 for hours and use those little joke of an L2 R2 that they modified into triggers as throttle and brake and tell me it's fine. It's not fine. It's horrible. Your finger's gonna slip off. It's
I
garbage.
always played those games with cross and um, and square anyways. So that was never a problem for me. Even the playthrough I did at GT5 this year, I didn't record it. It's not on YouTube. Um, it was on my free time. Um, I still did it using D-pad and face buttons. That's how it
Wow.
feels natural to me.
Oh no.
What's wrong?
Oh, we killed our souls. That's okay.
He did.
I
Ladies and
forgot you were playing
gentlemen,
Noita.
Yeah, we've been playing Noita while recording. You know, just something to do with our hands and multicast Omega saw blades wasn't the best idea.
You know, it usually isn't.
Minnie
Yeah.
gave herself DIY bottom surgery.
Oh my god.
honey, new bottom surgery just dropped.
The problem is our whole bottom dropped, like our legs and everything. Everything got cut off.
Oh, goodness.
You could say it was the bottom surgery was 50% off.
Incredible.
But
Boo hiss. But yeah.
Well, I guess that sounds like a good plan for after we feel like we talked in people's ears off enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still haven't tried the game. I bought it, I installed it, but I haven't even tried it yet.
Did you install the
I need to do that too. I only install like the
yeah.
vanilla game. Maybe
Actually
I'll
what
get on with that.
um
Cass had put something to
Well,
explain how to.
what do I have to explain?
No,
What do you?
you sent a couple days ago, the day I bought Noita. You sent me something telling me how to install the multiplayer mod.
Oh yeah, yeah. I sent you that like half an hour video. Um, I forget the YouTube channel's name, even though it pops up on YouTube all the time.
Fury Forged.
Very first, yes.
Shout
Yeah,
out
he
to.
basically just explains how to install it. It's really easy. It's basically
super
just a
easy.
program you run, and then you just select the file location of the game, and like that's most of it. Like it's really, really easy to set up. But that also kind of explains how some stuff you can kind of change works. Even though some of it might not make sense until you actually play the game.
Right.
But yeah, Noita, it's a really good time. It's really cool. It's also uh, one of the most punishing things you will ever play, but that's also what makes it fun.
It's mini coded again, you know.
So, how I'm gonna propose we wrap up this episode. This
Hey,
was essentially a pilot episode,
heck yeah.
and get on with that Noita
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Well then.
whoever,
Uh,
if to anyone who's still listening after 2 hours and a
Y'all best
half,
be y'all best be listening.
thank you very much. Hope y'all have a pleasant time, night, day, whatever fuck time y'all happen to be listening at. Y'all loved and valid. That's a promise and a threat. And I'll leave my co-hosts to say their goodbyes as well.
yeah,
Y'all can
and
say whatever you want.
yeah. Now, always remember, you can choose to enjoy the N64. You can also be wrong, so that's okay.
Wait,
Oh
can you?
Yeah, like Cass is wrong. So there you go.
Yeah,
no, like when you enjoy the N64, you're wrong. So
I don't think you realized what you said the first time around.
Oh no.
I know what I meant to say, but I have amazing words that always work properly.
They're fantastic. But yes, now what Saturn says too, y'all are loved and y'all are valid and smooches to all of y'all. Mwah. And smooches to you too. Mwah.
Yeah.
Smooches to you too, Minnie.
Yeah.
All right.